What is up, guys? We're back again. As you can tell, I got a haircut, went into the barber, gonna get some rapid chess in. Got e4, e5 going on here. It's time to go. Some slow Monday rapid chess. What did I want to say? I wanted to say, yeah, for those of you who know anything about Hong Kong, this is my last week in Hong Kong. So if anyone has any recommendations for something I could do, that would be really great. At the moment, I've already done Victoria's Peak. I went to Bubblegum Shrimp. And yeah, apart from that, I just walked around a lot. But if anyone knows anything about Hong Kong, y'all got any good recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I don't think I'm going to be coming back to the city, honestly, so I want to get everything done while I can. Alright, so e4, e5. We've got knight f3, knight c6, d4, takes. This is a Scotch. What could we do here? Let's just play knight f6. Just standard stuff. Honestly, I don't really like the Scotch. I find it a little boring. I find it shallow and pedantic. Yeah, but this is a pretty interesting position. Alright. Queen e7. This is really old school theory. This theory has been around literally like 30 years or something. It's been around longer than I've been alive on this earth. Yeah, what are we going to do here? Okay, bishop a6. This is the normal theory. I find this stuff very boring. I find it shallow and pedantic. Yeah. No, honestly, the city isn't that bad. It's more just the living arrangements are so terrible. I don't understand how people live here. Literally, like, the apartments are tiny, and it's not like I just got ripped off and I got stuck with the one tiny apartment. No, it's just the normal course of things that everyone is living in these tiny apartments. Let's play queen h4. Gonna try to come into d4. Scoop up the apple. He takes on f8, we play queen d4, and actually, yeah, he's losing a rook there. That's pretty scary, honestly. What a crazy tactic. I don't think bishop a3 is good. I definitely think that's dubious. Maybe not shallow and pedantic, but dubious. Okay, so I have a lot of ideas here. I have bishop b4. Another idea I have is knight a4. The idea is takes. I'm going to play rook b8 and just start undermining his position completely. Actually, wait, let's play rook b8. This reminds me of a game. I played this way back in the Nationals. I played this way to win the Nationals in, when was it? I can't remember exactly. It was, yeah, 2010, December 2010. I had to play a game like this to win the Nationals. Okay, well, here we'll check. Bishop c3, we have queen d4. Knight d2, well, can I take? This looks okay. This is a wild position, honestly. Okay, here can I take? Takes, I take on b2. If they take with the queen, I take. That also looks good. Yeah, let's go for that. All right, we'll throw in this check. He's definitely bit off more than he can chew with this one. Right as I say that, though, I realize I might be worse. But okay, knight takes b2. He takes on a6. Do we have anything there? Am I just losing? Did I just get bamboozled by this guy? I can't believe this. All right, let's just castle here. If he wants to take the piece, he can take the piece. Maybe I messed this up. I don't know, though. The position's going to get really crazy. His king is in the middle of the board. I feel like black should be doing fine. Like, at the end of the day, look at these rooks. These rooks are a laughingstock. Yeah, I've been in Asia 7 months now. I'm definitely looking forward to leaving. I really do love this continent, though. It's one of my favorites. If I had to rank them, I'm not sure which I would put first. South America is also very nice. South America is very different, but both are really nice. South America has nice people, great food, great dancing, great mariachis. But at the same time, Asia definitely has a lot going for it as well. All right, let's just play d5 here. I gotta open things up here. We gotta crack this position open like a can of sardines. I'm going to take. Maybe I should have taken with the bishop. I need to double up on the b file as soon as I can. Queen c3. Okay, this guy's being really sneaky here. Look at that. Bro's being too sneaky. Bro's got to chill with the tricks. Queen e6. I like this move a lot. I'm just going to play rook b6, rook b8, and just start piling down the b file. Very strange position here at the moment. All right. Just continuing on with my plan. Rook b8 is coming. Rook b8 is going to be a real tour de force, as they say. All right, let's play rook b8. He plays f5. I have queen h6 check. All right. I don't know what he's on about. It seems like he just it seems like he just botched it, honestly. All right, I could definitely take on b2 and be completely winning. Okay, yeah, let's just go for that. This is completely over. I don't know what he was doing, honestly. That didn't make any sense, what happened there near the end. 'Cause he was definitely winning before. We'll throw in a check here. I'm going to be pushing him around a bit. Look at this. We throw in this check. He goes king c1, then I play c3, and I'm threatening queen b2, and I'm also threatening queen e3. Two different threats of mate. It's too much. It's time to go. All right. Nothing to even think about here. That's mate. Okay, that was a relatively rough and tumble game, but it definitely worked out for us. All right, let's go. Starting to rise the ranks. Look at that, 23-47. Definitely getting up there. All right, we'll play knight f3 next. Gonna eventually play e3, b3, bishop b2. Things are looking good. Okay. e6, g6, that's very strange. Definitely that should be a little bit dubious, but well, how exactly do we respond to this? We could play c4 if we want. I've never seen this before, this e6, g6 stuff. It definitely can't be that good, though. Like, ultimately, e6, I think, is just a little bit of a waste of time. But how could we play? Of course, we can play the standard way with bishop e2, castles kingside, knight e5, and all that good stuff. I'm wondering if there's anything better, though. I don't see the point in c4. c4, they could still just play c5, so I guess c4 doesn't do anything. Bishop d3 also is probably slightly incorrect, because c5, c4 could still happen, or knight c6, knight b4. So let's put the bishop on e2. All right. Okay, so this is actually a little bit complicated. Look at this. If knight e5, they could play knight d7, and we're in a little bit of trouble there, because we cannot take here and hit the queen. So this guy, yeah, this guy's got some tricks. Play d3. We're going to just slowly play for e4. Is he going to play knight b4? Well, here we could definitely play knight e5, because now this knight is here on c6. If knight d7, we can take on c6, and no harm, no foul. All right, we'll just take this way. Can't be a problem here. These positions are relatively equal. They're definitely not worse for white, but they're not that much better either. Just balanced. You know what I mean? All right, here we could play for e4. We could play a bunch of things. We could play for e4. We could play for d4. What is the way to handle this? This is a very strange position, honestly. I'll just put the knight on c3. I don't know which I don't know which pawn I'm going to be pushing, honestly, just yet. Let's play queen d2. Yeah, this is a little bit counterintuitive. This is a bit counter to our normal orthodox plan of pushing for e4. But I got some things in mind. Wait, maybe he could just play d4. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I should not have allowed d4. I should have played bishop f3. This is a little dubious, guys. Get your hard hats on. We're about to go to the construction site. I feel like Bob the Builder here playing the bird. All right, a6, okay. Luckily, yeah, we could play bishop f3. If he plays b5, we can play b4, takes, and then reinstall the knight on d4. This is a classic idea. Notice that as long as this pawn stays like this, b4 doesn't do anything. But once he plays b5, then I could play b4, take, and then get my knight into this great square. Get the knight into the classic treehouse. Rook b1 is actually a nice idea, though. Look at that. We're going to play b4. This is a classic idea. The bird is just so rich. It's like a rich cheese fondue. I don't think I've ever even eaten fondue. I've just seen it in commercials. The power of propaganda. I literally just, it's lodged deep in the recesses of my subconscious that when you think of rich, creamy cheese, you think of fondue. One thing I'm not going to be missing is this Hong Kong air, man. This Hong Kong air makes my eyes water up. Not the biggest fan of Hong Kong here. D4. That's interesting. Here... Okay, I'm just going to take. If they take, we could play knight e4. This is a very strange position. Knight e2 also. What is he on about here? He's going to lose this pawn. The people want to know, what is man on about? He's about to lose this pawn here, I guess. Oh, he could play knight g4. Uh-oh. I should have been more aware of what was going on. But okay, knight g4, takes. Yeah, knight g4 we might be slightly worse. I think I messed this up. I gotta analyze this with the computer. I gotta remember that. I gotta remember that these rapid games you're supposed to be analyzing. Alright, here we could play h3. They have to go back to f6. Because if knight e3, then I have knight takes d4. And that looks good. Come on in, buddy. The water's fine. Knight h6. That should not be good. We'll play g4 here. Lock the knight in. Knight should have rerouted to d5 over here, and then hit c3 and e3 stuff. But I guess it's a little difficult because this pawn on d4 is hanging. That's interesting. All right, I guess, yeah, man is trying to play knight f7. Man is trying to get back in the zone. I need to attack this pawn with all my might, because this pawn is extremely annoying. Look at that. As long as this pawn is here, c2 is very weak. I definitely messed this up. If we go back here, b4, d4, I shouldn't have played b4 if they could play d4 like this. Yeah, I should have been a little more careful. All right. So what to do, though, here? I could reroute the knight to c5. Yeah, okay, let's just do that. Knight g3. Knight is going to come to e4 and then c5. This can't be bad for me. This definitely can't be bad for me. I'm wondering if it's best, though. Let's just play rook f1, actually. This is very dangerous for him. This pawn is going to be very weak here. I'm threatening now to take, and then this knight is going to be hanging here. If he puts the knight on f7, I can play knight e4. Keep the pot stirring. Yeah, knight f7, we play knight e4, install the knight on c5. We're attacking e6, d7. All right, well, there we take. Yeah, bro is in a lot of trouble here. Takes back, I just trade everything and the knight is hanging on h6. I don't know what that was about. Yeah, it's slowly rise in the ranks in this rapid chess. All right, there. Queen f2 would make sense, hitting these two. Yeah, I like queen f2 a lot. Another idea I have is g5, but that doesn't work yet because the rook is covering it. So I like queen f2. If rook e6, then we have g5. He could... Oh my god, I'm just not calculating anything. I thought his queen could take this pawn here. And I was looking at these variations where it takes. Of course, though, this isn't how queens work. Do not move your queen in that way. Queen cannot move on a diagonal and start on one color and end on another. It's not how the game works. f5. f5 is interesting, but f5... Okay. Luckily, I don't need to worry about f5. f5 would have been a bit tricky, though. f5, if I play g5, knight f7. Very, very strange position. Okay, but anyway, knight g8. Don't have to worry about it. Let's play rook f4. He plays rook e3. Rook f4, rook e3, that's a little bit wild. Rook f4, rook e3, I have knight e4. Maybe knight e4 even here, but no, knight e4, f5. Yeah, let's play rook f4 first. Very strange position here at the moment. I think he has to play rook e3. Everything else is going to get him into trouble. Yeah, rook e3 is a complete mess. Look at that. Rook e3, knight e4. He could even maybe take on h3. Bizarre position. Rook e3, maybe I could try knight e2. Takes, then takes. All right, I don't think that works. Let's put... Well, where should I put my king, though? If I put my king on h2, then queen d6 is a little annoying. I wanted to cover this pawn here. Maybe that's the key, actually. Look at that. I think I should just play h4 here. And we're just going to start advancing. Very bizarre position at the moment. I mean, so to really... I guess we'll go over this more in the analysis, but essentially what's going on is that I have a lot of play on the king side, but my queen side is fractured and full of weaknesses. So I need to be very careful about continuing to play for the initiative. All right, g5 I can take on d4. Because if queen takes d4, I have knight f5 tricks. h6 is definitely a bad move. He should have stayed patient and just kept this pawn here, because then h5, if I take, he could just take this way. Here, on the other hand, he's entered the cabbage patch. And the gnomes are getting feisty. All right, I guess that's the game. Oh, he could take here. That was so silly of me. All right, but wait, no, I have king h2. I have king h2. I'm still winning, guys. Excuse me. False alarm, everyone. I'm still winning. He has no way to keep this rook defended. If he plays queen a7, I can take with the rook. If he plays queen c7, I can take with the queen. He has no way to cover this rook while keeping my rook under attack. Yeah, that was completely unnecessary, though. If we go back here, I should have just thrown a knight to f5 with check first. Completely ridiculous that I allowed that. I'm definitely off my A game today. All right. That's interesting. But here we take. It's going to take. No, this has to be over. We can play. Yeah, okay, where's the win going to be here? Where is the win going to be? He wants to play rook h4 with the check. I actually don't care so much about rook h4. Rook h4 isn't the biggest issue. I don't want this knight to get in the game. So I like rook e1 here. He throws in a check. I go here. He takes. I feel like I should have a win there. At the very least, I could check and start picking up these pawns. Yeah, and the idea here is if he plays f5 to try to get his knight out, well, then he's going to have to weaken a lot more squares, and I can start invading along the 6th rank. So bro's in a lot of trouble here. Okay, f5. Interesting. Interesting stuff, interesting business. Let's play rook e6. If he throws in a check... Oh, that's so silly of me. He has a draw now. I just completely missed this. He could keep throwing checks back and forth. This is ridiculous. I completely messed this up. He can throw checks back and forth because I can never play king f1 because of rook f4. I can't believe I missed this. Yeah, this was... Oh, wow. Okay, that's amazing, honestly. I thought he was definitely going to get me. All right, here... Let's play king f3. Well, king f3, he plays g4. The game continues to get messy, but... All right, king f3. Really messy stuff here. At the moment, rook h3, then I play king g2, and now if f3, I could take the rook. Got to be a little careful here. I didn't want to let him get king g2, f3 in for free. Yeah, this is a tragic comedy of sorts. Definitely not playing my best game at the moment. I think he has to try knight f6 here, or he could even take and then play knight f6. But yeah, in either case, the knight has to get to f6 at some point. I think I'm just going to win on time. I don't know what's up with this guy. He's not managing his time well. All right. Yeah, let's start by throwing in a check. Okay, I'll take here. He's going to start getting these pawns up the board, but it's going to take his rook quite a while. Yeah, this isn't so simple. Like, I play king h2 here. How exactly is he going to make progress now? He cannot push the pawn because the rook is hanging. And, okay. Let's just play a4. I got to start getting these pawns down the board. We got to get moving. His knight still can't move because of the pin. All right, he's fixing for knight g4 check. Yeah, what are we going to do here? b6, knight g4, king g2, rook g3, king f1. That's very complicated. That's extremely complicated, honestly. I would prefer to not allow him those checks, but we gotta make progress at the same time. If I take on a4, yeah, what does he do if I take on a4? He can't move anything yet. He could try king h5. Yeah, this is a mess. This is an unmitigated mess, honestly. b6, knight g4. b6, knight g4, king g1. Yeah, this is going bananas. I mean, maybe I have to take on f6, but I don't think that that's the best. Like, he should definitely have a draw there. This is unbelievable. All right, wait, what if I try rook a8? Rook a8 just trades the rooks. Rook a8, knight g4, king g1. No, then he plays f3, and he's mating me. Oh, no, then I take, and I take on f8, but then that's still... I don't know what's happening there. I don't know what's happening at all there. This is just a complete mess. How does this position happen? I mean, maybe I could just flag him. If I play something crafty, maybe I could flag him, but it's... Yeah, this is complicated. b6, knight g4. I definitely played this a little inaccurately. I should have played... Maybe I should have just been more focused on holding on to that h-pawn, but I just thought I could play with the initiative. But alright, how can I flag the guy? We gotta get this big flag. Alright, I'll play rook a8. Hopefully this works. I don't know if it works or not. Ah, he could throw in a check. Yikes. This is getting messy. Alright, there. He's going there. f3 is gonna... Yeah, f3 is gonna be a real splash of cold water here. We need to be very careful. Let's play rook a6. I'm just gonna try to trade this. Is there any way I can check? Do I have any check on the board? Alright, I'm just gonna do this. Hopefully I have something here. Alright. Yeah, he played this extremely well. I just got completely outplayed in this endgame. But I think I'm gonna win on time, though. Alright, well, he's playing rook g3, actually. This is still a mess. I'm gonna play queen d6. Alright, definitely not the best game, but we'll take it. Yeah, can't believe I got a flag in a rapid game. That's really not expected. Alright, yeah, this is a pretty crazy game. Yeah, I mean, honestly, here, the way he played this ending, it looks a bit suspicious, honestly. I don't know what's up with this. This is extremely high accuracy in this endgame. Yeah, here, though, this is crazy. Alright, yeah, let's look at this whole game, though. So here we got this. We got this. d3 is a mistake. Why is d3 a mistake, though? Knight c6? What is he supposed to do here? d4? Ah, d4, and he's boiling into this. He's breaking into this square, right? If I kept my pawn on d2, what am I supposed to play here? Probably something like a4? Yeah. a4. This stuff is very strange, though, guys. Don't worry about this. Like, you're not going to need to know this for your games. Your opponents are not going to be 2400 rapid who play perfect endgames. And if they are, then good luck, because you'll be in a bit of trouble. But, okay. So, no, if they play d4, you see the difference. I still have a pawn protecting this, so d4 doesn't really do anything. In fact, here we could just play knight a3, knight c4, and be better. Yeah, d3, a little bit dubious. I should have played knight e5, it says, but wait, what about knight d7? Knight d7, what do I do here? Do I just play d4? That's interesting. Very counterintuitive to go for the stonewall structure, but I am significantly ahead in development here, so it's okay. It'll fly. Alright, so here, we got this. Here. Yeah, queen d2 a little bit dubious. Look at that. He should play d4 here. I was a little bit worried about that. But okay, here. Yeah, and so rook b1 is a very natural move. This is definitely a good idea to keep in your toolkit. The idea is we're going to play b4. Like, if they don't really do anything here, b4 takes and then rook takes. Your rook is getting a little better. If they play b5, you can play a4, and you've gotten open some files for your rooks. Yeah. That's definitely something to keep in mind, guys. So here, b4, yeah, b4 is a mistake. d4 is a fantastic move. I completely missed that. Yeah. No, when you play a move like b4, you need to guarantee that they have to take here, right? If they take here, then you play knight e2, knight d4. You're going to take on b4. Wait, what's the problem with this? Don't tell me this is also a problem. Okay, I mean, I guess they could play a5 and they have some pressure down the c file. This is very strange. I've played these positions and fought for equality from them. Like, normally, even if you're down a pawn here, if you get the d4 score for your knight, you should be okay. So I don't know what the chess.com computer is on about. But yeah, pretty much, apparently I was supposed to take first and then play knight e2, knight d4. Regardless, though, the knight e2, knight d4 maneuver, that's something you want to keep in mind. Definitely something quite useful here. Like, to be clear, guys, you're not going to be playing Grandmasters. You don't need to worry about, like, these stockfish readings of negative 0.06, plus 0.13, plus 0.15. None of that matters. What's important is just that you understand these ideas and you have enough of a recognition of them for them to show up on your radar when you're playing a chess game. All right, so d4, yeah, now I'm in trouble here. Knight h6. I think this guy might have been cheating. Knight h6 is... Oh, was knight f6 better? Oh, okay, I thought knight h6 was the best move in this position because this looks very counterintuitive. Knight g3, e5. Yeah, I don't know what to think. All right, rook f4 is a miss. What am I supposed to do here? Knight e4? Yeah, knight e4 looks good. Look at that. I'm keeping pressure, and then I could play rook f4, and his rook won't be getting into e3. I just was getting a little too frisky in the cabbage patch here. And then this ending, this goes really crazy. I can't believe I missed this. I just play knight f5 here, and the game is over. King h7, I take on d4. He doesn't have any rook g3 funny business. I'm just winning a rook here. Can't believe I missed that. And then this endgame was just wild. I end up losing the endgame, but I got the flag, and the rest is history, as they say. The rest is bird history. All right, playing Borozja. Borozja from Serbia. Borozja MZ od Serbia. Okay, f4, knight f3. We play e3 here. We could play e4 as well, but technically speaking, I want to follow the repertoire completely. e3 is a little better. Bishop e5. Back in the bishop e5 systems. Bishop d7. All right, we'll castle here. g6. All right, we got to be a little careful here. g6, if I play b3, we get hit by bishop g7. I think then better is knight c3 here. Yeah, attacking d5. A little bit tricky for him. I don't think this is in my course, actually. I'm gonna have to double check that this is in my course. I haven't seen this exact setup here. All right, well here we could play e4. Could definitely play e4 here. Could also take and play knight e5. I like e4, d4, knight e2. That has to be okay. Yeah, let's go with e4 here. Knight f6, we have e5. Takes, we can take with the knight, and then he can't develop the bishop to g7 because I got a knight check. All right, a6, interesting stuff, but we'll take. If he takes, I'm going to play knight e5. Bro is definitely in the cutter's chest here. Knight e5, this is a little bit of trouble. Dude is definitely in a little bit of trouble here. Okay, well, here we'll take. In the end, I've given him the doubled pawns as I was hoping for. d3, going to play knight a4, target this pawn. Yeah, this is a tricky position, but it has to be at least okay. If you give them these ugly pawns here, you can't be worse. Should probably be slightly better. Maybe even a lot better. All right, here I'm really interested in knight a4. Knight a4 seems very interesting. You're attacking the c-pawn. They play c4, we play e5. This is a bizarre position here. Yeah, knight a4, c4. What is this position here? What is this position? And what is dude on about? I could try f5. f5 is a menace. Takes... Yeah, no, f5 take... Sorry, I can't draw arrows because of the $5 mouse, but takes, knight takes. I could just take with the rook there. f5, Yeah, let's go for f5. It's time to go.
FTV Claude, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked.
It's time to go!
Life is short. We gotta go. We gotta get things moving. This is Philosopher Birdmaster here. Life is short. You gotta get things going. Castles, we play f6 and his knight is completely locked out there. Normally in these positions, guys, if you have e4 and f4 and you can play f5, it's normally a good move. It's just normally due to the specifics of the position that it's usually not available. But if it's available, you gotta play it. Unless you don't have to. Yeah, f5, this bishop is gonna drill into several important squares here. Even if their bishop was still on g7, we could deploy the bishop to g5 and that would be very good. Yeah, dude is in a lot of trouble here. We could take, or we could play bishop h6. Both of those would be very good moves. Man, bishop h6 might be even better. Takes, castles. There we play bishop g5. That also looks very good, though. Man, all of these moves look good. All right, I'm going to take here. Bishop h6 definitely might have been okay as well. Okay, well here f6 looks very strong. Just pushing the knight out. Knight f5, I can just take with the rook. Dude is in a lot of trouble there. Because takes, I check, and then I mate. Alright, well this is over. It's time to go, buddy. Pack your bags, pack your stuff. We're moving on out. Yeah, I think he had to play, if we go back here, he had to play knight c8, but that's just a very depressing move to have to make. And from there, I could just play bishop g5, queen h4, queen h6, and deliver the old-fashioned checkmate. Alright, here, queen g3, keeping the pin up. Have to keep an eye on this e1 square, though. Do not want to blunder checkmate there. If he had a way to push my queen around, he might have some chances, but he doesn't. There's nothing to do here. Probably the best option is to take here, but that clearly can't be good. If takes, I could even just play bishop g5. Because takes, I have takes with check. Bro is being so sneaky. Why is bro being so sneaky? That's a good move, though. That's a cute move. It don't work, though. It's not going to work on me, pal. I'm a Grandmaster. But it's a good move. It's a good try. Man was hoping that I took his queen and then rook e1 his checkmate. Here we could do a bunch of things. Of course I can take his rook. That's definitely not bad. I'm wondering if I have anything better. Rook h5 is interesting, but rook h5, he just moves the rook out of the way. Alright, let's just take here. Nothing can be bad with that. Yeah, what am I going to play here? Let's just play h3. Make sure my king has some space to breathe. Alright, let's get the bishop out. Bishop f4. He wants to take a few more pawns. He can. The clock's ticking. Alright. Can play rook f. This is getting a little tricky, honestly. It should definitely be winning for me, but it is tricky. Yeah, this is a little tricky. Let's play rook f1 here. Positionally, this has to be fine. Here, I could play bishop e5. If he plays queen e2, I have rook e1. How many pawns does he have for the... He has 3 pawns for the piece. Wow. Alright, here we'll play rook e1. All I need to do is figure out a way to get my queen over to f6 and the game should be over. Well, here, wait, can't I take? I can take. If he throws in a check, I just play king h2. Yeah, dude is in a lot of trouble now. What do we do here? Yeah, what is the best move? What is the best move in this position? Queen h4 is really cheesy. Look at that. Queen h4, they take, and then we play rook f7. Queen h4 takes rook f7. Threatening mate, threatening this check also. I think that works. Queen h4 takes, we check here, and then mate. Last thing I gotta check is queen h4. Does he have any forks? No, all of these checks, my king just goes to h2. He doesn't do anything there. Alright, we'll go for that. Things are getting a little cheesy, but, you know, cheesy isn't necessarily bad, especially if you ordered the pizza. Alright, king h2. If he takes... Oh, he could... Well, no, takes, I check. Yeah, so check, here, check, and then mate. Alright, that's pretty lucky, honestly. I didn't see that. before going for this tactic here. But fortunately, it's enough. We're keeping it moving and we're keeping it going. All right, check. That's it. That's all she wrote. No hands for the finale. Wonderful. Yeah, let's look at the game review. 0 mistakes, 0 blunders. Did I play a perfect game? Nice. Dude, I'll definitely take that. If my opponent played this well, I would have definitely reported them for cheating. Yeah, this was a nice game. Alright, yeah, can we open up the analysis? Alright, so we got this. All of this. E4 is a good move. Nice. Yeah, this is definitely a higher level to the bird. If once you get really good at the bird, you will pick up a lot of these higher level details. Your knight on c3, if your knight's been committed to c3 before you've given them these weaknesses here for whatever reason, like sometimes you just have to do it, then you often want to look at if you can just use it to support e4 quickly. So this is an example of that. They play a6, takes, knight e5, hit them with the good stuff, and he lets me give him the ugly pawns. d3, queen e1. Is f5 good? f5 is inaccurate. Interesting. Ah, it wants me to play king h1 first and then f5. Wait, not f5 here? What does it want me to do here? b3. You gotta be kidding me. Dude, I would never have the guts to play b3. Look at this. I don't want to pin myself. Who in their right mind would pin themselves like this? But apparently this just works. Like if c4, we just take, and then e5. This looks great because their bishop is just dead here. We're going to drill the bishop into d6. Yeah, this looks very good. Alright, so apparently f5 is slightly inaccurate. I mean, in general, though, the point remains you got to always be on guard for this f5 idea. It's a really critical idea. Often it works. And when it works, it can just hit home. It can hit like a sledgehammer. Alright, so takes. We take here. I was wondering about bishop h6. Apparently he takes here and he's better. He's 0.3 better. Give me a break. You got to give me a break, chess.com. You're telling me in this position? Okay, well actually, yeah, we're losing material here. It's still shocking that his king could be so bad and he could be better here. Yeah. Yeah, even now, like, you know, like, logically speaking, I'm looking at chess.com's evaluation and I sort of understand it, but even so here, I still wouldn't be that worried. I think white has full chances here. White should have, practically speaking, equality, because this position is just such a mess here. Look at this. We got queen slicing through here, bishop slicing through here. We got a knight ready to hop into the cabbage patch. Way too much good stuff. Alright, so anyway, so here, castles f6. Yeah, knight f5, just a big mistake here. He should play knight c8. But then I played bishop g5. I'm going to play queen h4, queen h6. Ah, queen h4 slightly better. Look at that. Better to play queen h4, keep this pawn in b2, secure a little bit longer. Probably sooner or later we are going to play bishop g5 to play queen h6, but right now there's no need. Rook e8, bishop g5, threatening queen h6. If he plays h5, we just chip away with g4, and, you know, something like takes this, and this is going to be over. So man instead has to try rook e6 here. He just has to fight for dear life that this pawn is under enough pressure that we cannot play queen h6 because of bishop takes pawn. Apparently here we play knight a4. That's really creative. Look at that. You're going to play c3 to trap the bishop. Very wild stuff here. Crazy position. Okay, I guess that does it for the analysis. Thank you all for watching.
Time to go!